Hi and welcome to my channel. Now today's video is about testing your controller, and I've got a website here I'm going to test my controller today. There is a method in my madness here. A few of you may be thinking, Mick, you're clutching at straws now, you'll be telling us how to test if we've got our socks on or not, but no, honestly I won't be doing that video just yet. But today's video is, I did a video a little while ago about buying PCs and what to look out for, maybe not to go too much down one avenue on an old PC, something that's 16 years old or thereabouts, give or take a few years either side. Not to go too far. If you fancy getting one at a reasonable price, cheap, then yeah, but don't get one because the process is really fast. Got some fast hard drive and all that, because the motherboard's going to be old and it's going to be some old stuff in there. Don't go too much in. Don't put too many eggs in one basket, kind of thing, on something that's old. A little bit different on the i5 stakes because some good stuff about, and it does last 50 years and so on. I think some of these PCs will be struggling to last 50 years, but that's a different story. But yeah, we'll be bringing up a few bits of i5 here and there. I've kind of gone down the PC kind of route at the moment, but the reason for this video is because I'm going to be bringing out maybe one or two videos talking about playing some retro games on your old PC. You may have an old PC laying about. I know people do a lot of stuff on Raspberry Pis and on handhelds and all that, but again, this channel is about recycling some stuff. People have not got a lot of money, that kind of thing, and don't want to spend out a fortune, but still want to have a little bit of fun on that. Maybe playing a few old PC games. So. Now, when I do that, I usually use an Xbox 360 controller, something like this. Obviously, people use other controllers, may use PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, but this is kind of my go-to controller because it's cheap, and that's what I say the channel's about. It's about cheap. You can pick up one of these on eBay, probably second-hand for maybe 10, maybe £15. You may pay a little bit more, depends on condition and that. But I would have said 10 to 15. I see a brand new one on there today for £25 boxed, brand spanking new, so that's pretty good. And I pick a couple of these up at a charity shop for £5 each, and they work fine. Just look out for cuts and bits out of these. You can see if they've been well used. If they're well used, I'll kind of keep clear of them. But as long as they're in good condition, this is all intact and that, and it feels okay in the shop for a £5, I buy it. But some people may want to pick up one of these thinking, well, yeah, I've got an old PC. I've just got to get myself a Joypad mic and I'll be up and running. But I want a new one, you know what I mean? I don't want to spend too much money. A lot of people buy these for £9, something like that, on eBay, delivered. So they are cheap. Don't forget, he's got to take his fees out, etc. So he's probably buying these in for about £2 each or something like that. But there is a couple of versions of these about. So I'm going to show you a site here. It's not software, it's a site you can go to test out your Joypad. It's not just for PlayStation, for Xbox 360, for PlayStation, all different controllers really, gamepads, all that. So it may be interesting just to go for your particular gamepad and compare it with another one you got or something like that, because it's got a couple of useful features on this particular website. I think is very interesting, like I say. So yeah, so if you're thinking about getting one of these, this particular kind of unit, about not say £9 on eBay, there is a couple of versions floating about, and I want to make sure you're wary of both versions. And if you get the worst version out of the two, maybe thinking about sending it back, or it's not 100% compatible, as maybe some of these sellers are saying. It's made in China. Well, these are made in China, but made for ridiculous kind of money. They haven't put more effort into it than they have here. This isn't a bad control. It's all right. It's not bad. It's not going to replace this. You're going to see why in a minute, but it's okay. It does the job, kind of thing. Going to get you up and running. That's going to be fine. So what I'm going to do is show you this particular bit of software here. I'll plug this in. This is plugged in by USB. The other one's wireless, but this one's USB. So I've got it plugged in by USB. This is the cheap one off of eBay we're doing first. And we're going to test the button. So we just go along here. You're going to see when I press my button. Hopefully I'm going to get both of them in here. You're going to see this button lighting up here. And as I go around the pad, I'll move it down here. I'm not cheating, but you're going to see all these lighting up, etc. as I move them about. And all that. You're going to say, well, that's fantastic, Mick, that's working great. But like I say, there's two versions of this, and they're both going to do exactly the same at the moment. But it's a little bit of a difference between this and the cheaper one. Well, not cheaper, the same price, don't get me wrong, but the worst one out of the two, shall we say. And it comes down to this movement here, this particular control here, this movement here, and this movement here. Now, normally you get a nice 360 kind of movement as you move it around in a circle. Say your player was on the screen, your player would move around in a nice circle like that, nice and smooth. And it does to a certain extent on this control, and we'll show you all that in a minute. Not so much for a player, but we're going to have some little demos down here. With the cheaper version of this, your player, or whoever it is, won't so nice and smooth. You'll be here 1 minute and up here the next. That in between, you may be lucky to get an in-between point on that circle, but it'd kind of be here, then there, then over here, then down there. You may get an halfway kind of thing. So he's going to be jerky. Just for instance, if we wanted to move from up this side of the screen nicely down here to the bottom, we wanted to do it in a kind of wavy sine wave, kind of like that. With this controller, it's going to be fairly good, you know what I mean? It's going to come down a reasonable kind of sine wave. With that cheaper controller I'm on about, you're going to be coming down here a bit more like a square wave. You're going to be, let's just do it like that. You're going to be something like that. You're going to be quite jerky coming down. And you're going to notice that when playing the game. So this is a good piece of software. I think keep calling it software. Good website for testing things out. So what we're going to do, we're going to test this here. We're going to start off with this side one here. Hopefully you can see it. And we're going to spin it around. I'm going to do it down the bottom. But basically what I'm doing is I'm going to spin it around like that in a nice circular. And you're going to see it on the screen here. So as I do it, as you can see, it's coming round. And it's a reasonable amount of smoothness. If you watch down here as well, this is connected to it. You can see that's going around at a reasonable kind of smoothness. But what this particularly does this here is got a test circularity feature on this particular website. So we're going to tick that box. And by the way, this is hardwaretester.com. We'll put a link down below for the actual site. We're going to click that and we're going to start off with this side here. And I'm going to do it in a circular movement. It says spin joystick slowly to test. So that's what we're going to do. You're going to have to trust me. I'm not cheating. You know, you're going to trust me. I'm doing it down the bottom here. And as you can see, it does leave some white bits, but it finally fills them all in. And we'll go around a few times, a reasonable slow pace. I'm keeping it as smooth as possible with my thumb. Done it quite a few times there. We get a 21% error there. So it's just, we'll take a note of that, 21%. We're going to do this one here as well. This one here, this is going to come up over here. We're going to do the same thing down the bottom here. And I've done it a few times. This should be fairly, very close to the other one. Just trying to try and fill in them couple of bits that are missing, but I'm not going to spend all day at it. There we go. 20.7. So we've got 21.2, 20.7. So that's the kind of accuracy of that turning round like that, the smoothness of it. I'm going to do one more test here. As these shoulder buttons here, as you know, if you're playing a racing game, you can use them for accelerating like that and braking like that. And what we're going to do for this particular, I'm going to use this one here, and we're going to keep an eye on this here. Hopefully you can see that. I'm going to push it in slowly, so I'm going to start pressing it now. It took a little while to kick in. Even though I pressed it, which is now, and I'm pressing all the time, it takes a little while to kick in. It's hard. Maybe if I can do that at the same time you're watching it, hopefully you can see. I'll put it over here and hopefully you can see that. It does take, you notice that you can kind of get a bit of movement on there, nothing's happening. Actually, I'm probably going nearly halfway before that actually kicks in. So that's that side. We can do it the same with this other side here, this other shoulder button here. And again, I'm moving that and it's taken a while to kick in. So it's smooth enough. You may find with a cheaper version of this joystick, well, I've got rid of, funny enough, and slung it in the bin because it's rubbish, but you may just press that and it may just be on, just completely on or off, and that is it. So it's not going to give you much control over acceleration. But the main point here is these controllers here, is the smoothness of these, getting you around the screen. It does make a massive difference. So that's that controller. That's about, say, about £10 new, but like I say, there's a couple of versions flying about. Try not to get the wrong one. The next one we're going to test here, I'm just going to refresh this site. Okay, I'm back on. Thanks, Virgin Media. Finally got connected. I think it's off for about 5 minutes. It does go off now and again. I don't know why, but there you go. I think they're all pretty much the same these days, aren't they? But anyway, here we go. Right, in the meantime, I've connected up my original Xbox 360 controller. This is wireless. I'm going to use this little wireless adapter that you can buy that comes with it, or buy or whatever. So we've got our wireless connectivity. And we're going to do the testing out in here, and we're going to look out at these particular ones here. Like I say, we've got our normal buttons here. We press our buttons. You can see they're all going. Didn't want to press that button, but there you go. That, there, and that D-pad and all that, all moving about, etc. But what we want to do is test these, and we've got, I think it's around about 20% to beat on both. So we're going to start off with this top controller here, and I want to come spin that round. Oh, must tick the test circularity I can't even say the word, but we'll tick it anyway. Spin the joystick slowly to test, so we're going to spin that round. I'm going to come down the bottom here. You can see me spinning that round, hopefully. I wouldn't say slow, but I've done it a few times now. We'll do it a little bit slower, I suppose. But I like to do it down here because I can get more of acid, get my finger in the right position there. But we've got 12% on that one. I'm going to do the other one here. I'm going to spin that round. And we've got 12% on that one there as well. Now what you will notice, I didn't mention it with the other one, but if you rewind the video, you will probably notice, let's just do that a few more times. Got 14% there. So we are better off, we're about 8% better off here and 6% better off there. May not sound a lot, but you get a more smoother control, especially in the racing games like that, when you just got to steer slightly to one side, that kind of thing. You're having a little bit more control on the steering than you do with that cheaper one. But like I say, that cheaper one is okay, as long as you get the one that doesn't jerk all over the place. So as long as you get the same one as I got. Now, I don't know where I got that from. I got it from eBay, and I bought so many backwards and forwards that were good and weren't any good, that I completely got mixed up who was who. So I can't recommend any sellers. It's just something to watch out for yourself. So I'm sorry about that. And it's not that particular seller. This is a few months ago now, quite a few months ago. Maybe get a different batch in. They may be completely different as well. So there you go. There's me testing both of these. Just going to do these top ones as well. Oh, and I just wanted to show you something interesting that you can rewind the video and have a look at. If I untick that test circularity and actually spin it round, you'll notice, if I do this one slowly, you'll notice that this, I'll put it in there, in that particular position there, it stays within the circle kind of thing. It stays, if you can see what I mean, it just slightly goes out further from the circle. But on the other one, it kind of shoots out over here, which is really giving a direction in that direction, if you know what I mean. Rather than this one keeps it kind of a bit more real, a bit more closer to where it should be on that round circle, on that circular motion. It keeps it closer, where the other one did shoot out quite a bit further. And the same with this here, it shot out further. If you rewind that video, you'll probably catch it, that it shot out further. Just wanted to mention that. But what we're going to do now is test these top buttons like we did before. And I've done it before, but I'll do it again here. And as soon as I touch it, we'll get, look, I'm just about moving it, and we're getting a reading. We're getting, it's a much more accurate, slower, consistent reading. It's more smoother and consistent, that reading is, and that's on both of these. So this is obviously a better controller. We'll do it there as well, and hopefully you can see that. Just touching it now, and we move off straight away, getting a more consistent reading there. So that's it. Just to kind of make you aware that if you are buying one of these cheap controllers, there's a couple of versions floating around. Try and get the better one out of the two. Give you a better gaming experience. But always worth picking up one of these second-hand, because it's going to be even better again. Nearly, you could probably say it's nearly twice as accurate as this, thereabouts-ish. So yeah, that's it really. And this does not just Xbox controllers, it does other controllers as well. Maybe you want to compare a couple of your controllers you've got, thinking I've got a decent one here, and you may put it on here and think, oh, it's not quite as good as the other one I got. But I didn't notice it that much in the game, but this will give you a more accurate reading. I've got no affiliation to this site whatsoever, but I think this does a pretty good job, because this particular part here that gives you a percentage here, and also here we can see the movement increasing upwards and downwards. It gives you a good indication of how good maybe your joystick is. Okay, that's it. Enough waffling and wandering and whatever I talk about and whatever. Until the next video, I'll say thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.